Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Where the rich and pompous meet the still and forgotten. Waxwork. This is the 1988 comedy horror from director Anthony Hickox, who also directed Sundown the Vampire Retreat, Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth, Warlock the Armageddon, and Full Eclipse. This is also the third installment in the Vestron Viewings series. That's a part of the line of Vestron video releases. This is the third release. It contains parts 1 and 2, so I'll dig into the second one sometime soon. The plot. It appeared on a sunny afternoon, as if by magic, a waxwork. Despite it being a little outdated, it still manages to attract a group of friends to check out its spooky exhibits. However, crossing the rope and over the threshold of reality, they come to realize, some far too late, that these displays are actually a portal to another dimension. And once you die in said dimension, you become part of the exhibit. A couple of the friends must discover the truth of the waxwork and the sinister man behind it all in order to stop it. This is a goofy movie, but it's not so goofy in the sense that it has nothing serious about it. The characters have a merry time until things get sinister. They then are alert and worried. Still, however, they can be lured in by its whimsical and enchanting powers that draw them into a trap. As for the atmosphere in this film, it's got a certain 80s charm that could only be done in the 80s, but it does still feel very rushed. The script was written very quickly, like in the matter of a few days, by the director, and it shows. There are a handful of chuckle-worthy lines, but a lot of it is rather cringy.
Run! Run! There's nowhere to run!
Also, the editing can be a bit too choppy. It's one of those movies that you have to be totally invested in order to capture a character trait or quirk, or else you'd have to watch it again to get the punchline.
Oh, that's gotta hurt!
For the characters, we have Mark, played by Zach Galligan from Gremlins 1 and 2. He's kind of a preppy punk who smokes a lot. He doesn't look down on poor people like his mother does, though.
One has to keep the distance between them and us.
They're all human beings.
Servants.
His family has a history with the waxwork caretaker. I like and I dislike that it went in that direction. I wouldn't have minded if it was just friends getting stuck in the waxwork the whole movie, or the adventure Mark goes on. It works either way, but the first option that I mentioned would have been a bit redundant. Sarah, played by Deborah Foreman from April Fool's Day and Destroyer, is the virgin woman who does like Mark, but is a bit apprehensive. She does go along with him on his investigation to find the links and reasoning. Foreman was actually married to the director at one point. The Waxwork Man, played by the always great David Warner from The Omen 1976 and The Company of Wolves, seems a bit disinterested in the movie. Spare for a few scenes, but he doesn't let that deter his performance from being fun. He originally wasn't going to be in the movie, but Anthony Hickox says that he was an extra in one of Warner's movies and his charm and charisma reeled him in. I think his character is an interesting part to the movie. Everything from his eccentric dressing to his out-of-the-times nature.
I'm sorry, ladies. Did I startle you?
He's just a blast to watch. Same goes for Sir Wilfrid, played by Patrick Macnee from The Howling. He also hosted the making of this movie.
Hello, I'm Patrick Macnee. I've been in some crazy movies in my time, from The Avengers to The Howling. But this is the craziest of all, Waxwork.
He's a scenery-chewing, enthusiastic family friend to Mark, and knows about the history of the Waxwork Man. He is bound to a wheelchair, but when he comes in for the final battle, he decks it out in armor. This is one crazy film. We also get side characters, like China, played by Michelle Johnson, and Tony, played by Dana Ashbrook, from Return of the Living Dead Part 2, Boa, and Python 2, as well as cameos by Miles O'Keefe from Ator and Double Target as Count Dracula, and John Rhys Davis from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lord of the Rings, Sabretooth, 12 Days of Terror, Chupacabra Terror, and he plays an awesome werewolf. There are so many great actors and actresses in this movie, and they do what they can with the quickly written material. A tall order needed to be filled with the big premise of this story. I feel it was self-contained to a Waxwork, so it wouldn't get out of hand. It still maintains the magic and mystique that sort of reminded me of Empire Pictures back in the glory days of the 1980s. Still, this film delivers on a lot of things. From the actors and actresses, the tone, and some of the humor. However, it falters slightly with the characters, writing, and editing. We're kind of in the middle here. What's something to give the film a more positive edge? The gore, the effects. We get a guy ripped apart vertically by a werewolf's mighty claws. Heads are crushed and exploded. Bloody impalings, and some more grisly goodness. It's not the absolute goriest flick of the 80s, but there's enough to satisfy any gorehound. The special effects were headed by Bob Keane, who also did The Never-Ending Story, Hellraiser, Nightbreed, and Candyman 1992, and are impressive to say the least. The Werewolf, Mummy, and a brief glimpse of The Witch are all top-notch, and I would love to see spin-offs with all those characters. Just think about it. Waxwolf, the motion picture soundtrack. I don't think people give enough credit to Roger Bellin, who also composed The Unholy from 1988. He also conducted the music for this movie. He manages to bring to life so many different traits of classic movie scores in new and grand ways. Sure, we get medieval magic. Let's bring out the horn, the flute, the chime, and piano work. The Egyptian enchantment with flute, harp, and violin boldness, and upbeat urgency of 80s shenanigans, with keyboard, guitar, and drum skill. And yes, it's all a bit cliche, and even cheesy, but it works wonderfully for the tone of this movie. It's a 30s monster movie in an 80s denim jacket. Great stuff. Overall, this is a great cheeseball of a flick. There are more pros than cons. It's got great ambition, even with its $3 million budget, and it succeeds. Hickox has said that this should have been a $20 million budgeted film, with a year to shoot, but he was only given the budget he was provided, with only 6 weeks or so to film. Still, what he turned in was awesome, and I wish more people knew about it. I definitely recommend this one. It's not perfect, but grab a group of friends and enjoy the imaginative madness that is Waxwork. Overall, I give Waxwork a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the Horror Shark. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I greatly appreciate it. Plus, you get access to body counts and other music videos that you cannot get on YouTube because of copyright and age restriction. Monetary support, if you want to support the channel through PayPal at horrorshow37@gmail.com, I'd greatly appreciate that too. But if you don't want to support me with any money, just hit that notification bell to be notified every time I'm making a video. And as always, subscribe. Blah blah.